to Blizzard guides. This footage is all from the alpha, so things may have changed since for the closed beta on the 26th, but let's get into the changes. Now, I'm gonna introduce and highlight the kits of all of the reworked and new heroes.
Yeah, new hero is absolutely busted.
Now, I know they've already been announced, but here's what it'll all actually look and work like. The more that's been changed about the heroes, the earlier...
If you have good aim, you go crazy with it. If you have bad aim, the hero's kinda useless.
In the video. So first off,
because the problem with this hero is that it's kind of like Cassidy, right? Where like I guess I played it a lot. I think that was my most played in the beta. Okay, basically this hero, like, she doesn't have a lot of utility based on that isn't skill based. So if you're not hitting like a good E or a good gravitational field or whatever the fuck, you have to hit shots. And
Sojourn.
I mean, if you don't hit shots, you don't win.
A projectile-based railgun. The more damage that you deal.
Her shift is a slide jump. Her E is a small gravitational pull that doesn't do a lot of damage. Her right click is hit scan, and her left click is fucking projectile. So it's like
that you gain. But what is energy? Well, your secondary fire shoots a hit scan beam that can one-shot headshot. You use energy to charge that beam up. The more charge, the more damage. Her first ability is
I told you, if you can aim, you go harder.
High mobility, instantly fast slide that allows her to get extra height from her jump.
Guys, she's not like Soldier. She's the exact opposite of Soldier. Her left click is a leading ability, and her right click is a hit scan ability.
During the slide, this is her core part of her kit.
Left click is projectile. So she's the exact opposite.
Her second ability is Disruptor Shot. Think of it like a mini graviton surge that just slows you down instead of holding you back, and it also deals damage. It's really, really strong, and it's very scary when used by the pros.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with this guy. It's not fantastic. It's really easy to get out and doesn't really do much. It does a lot if the guy isn't moving, or it has literally a brain that's sub-zero IQ.
Another thing that is really scary when used by pros is her ultimate overclock. It's really simple. All it does is just make you auto-charge energy.
If you walk out of it in like 0.5 seconds, it does like literally 8 damage to you. What about it?
Lets you secondary fire through multiple enemies. Now, trust me, it doesn't seem like it's a very strong ultimate, but seeing Overwatch League pros use this in the alpha makes Sojourn look insanely broken. So this is probably her best ability. I mean, obviously, it's her ultimate. Orisa. Orisa has had her shield removed. Before we talk about her shield replacement, her primary
Chat, you know when you play Orisa and your shield breaks and your shift is on cooldown? Chat, when your shift is on cooldown and you don't have shift, you know how naked you feel with Orisa, right? That's pretty much how you feel like 700% of the game. That's kind of how you feel with Orisa.
Has changed. This is what it looks like now. It just does more damage per pellet, but it has less pellets.
That's kind of how I felt playing it.
Cooldown system, so as long as this meter doesn't top out, you actually don't have to reload. Her secondary fire is now an energy spear, and her new iconic item across her kit. She throws the spear and knocks the enemy it hits backwards. And much like Doom Punch, if the enemy gets knocked back into a wall, it does even more damage.
She's fun though. I enjoyed playing her.
Replacing her shield, it is her spear spin. It destroys incoming projectiles, but more importantly, it speeds her movement up and it pushes enemies.
Yeah, it's good to push through chokes. It's a good ability.
I played Orisa against the Boston Uprising head coach Lori, and new Orisa's just insanely strong.
She is pretty good, yeah.
The way that Lori used this was by engaging deep with Fortify, javelin spearing somebody into his own team, and then spear spinning them into a corner or further into his own team. He basically pulled somebody away from the team and then just spear spun them deeper into his own team. It was
I mean, I think
crazy strong.
Okay, I think this guy's like overplaying some of this shit. Like, I don't know.
It was basically a one-man pull hook combo. Now, finally, her ultimate is now Terra Lance. I'm just gonna show you instead of explaining.
This is kind of bad. It's pretty lame. Yeah, this is pretty lame.
The longer that you charge it, the more it does. So if you proc it immediately, it actually does less damage, like this. Doomfist. Doomfist is...
Guys, I played the beta for like, I don't know, maybe like 20 hours plus, okay? And I've rarely seen people get actual kills with the ult. Sorry.
a tank now, and a pretty decent one at that. Now, I don't think he's insanely strong, but that's what we thought about Doom when he first initially launched until players got really good at his techs.
xQcOW.
Now he just seems to be a solid B, but maybe as a tank he'll be really good. His rocket punch is largely the same, it just does a lot less damage and doesn't one-shot, but it does charge quicker and he can potentially knock back.
That's not the point though. The right click now is it's like a super stun.
Enemies with
it is a super stun. Or is it the
uppercut is just gone and it's replaced by his seismic slam.
Okay, so the stun when I played it at the beta, everyone was complaining. A lot of people were complaining in chat about how long the stun is. The stun, if you hit the guy in the wall, is like an incredible amount of stun time. I think it's like 2.5 seconds or something like that.
Actually, just fly with seismic slam, so it's like the best of both worlds. It has a huge arc, but it doesn't do a ton of damage.
I don't know how long it is. It's like an insane stun.
His gameplay feel fluid and just unrestrictive as a whole. Now, I think Doom is a lot more fun because of this, but not necessarily crazy
is it
strong
one?
like some.
It's like 2 seconds, I think, or 2. It's gotta be 2.
His new
One.
ability, replacing uppercut entirely, is power block.
Well, I don't want to say to you guys. I feel like if you're stunned for a second in Overwatch, it feels like 2. Okay,
Which
that's how I'm gonna say it.
Removes incoming damage from the front. In the alpha, it was about 90%. And if you block at least 100 damage, you get a super rocket punch, which charges faster, travels further and faster, also allows you to hit more targets in a wider area, and stun enemies that get punched into a wall even longer.
For how long though? For how long?
His ultimate is largely the same. It just slows enemies that got hit as well.
See, so like I said earlier into the stream, so they made Doomfist a more of a presence, right? So you want to be like in the fray, do a lot, be present, be disruptive, and be able to get out anytime you want without dying, which was one of the problems with Doomfist as a DPS. So sometimes you would actually die and risk your life making plays. With Doomfist now, you don't risk anything. You're going in, you're staying alive.
Now let's talk Bastion. Bastion is a mobile tank. His primary fire is slower, but it also has no spread. So it's like a sniper kind of gun, which just rewards like very high precision. It's super fun and it has the potential to be pretty good. In turret form, it's now called Configuration Assault instead.
I told you he's pretty good.
Sentry. It just allows him to move while he's in that turret form, which is a lot of fun. It has
Cuz said he's D tier. I don't think I agree with Cuz on this one.
Really
I think Bastion's pretty good.
Or it's also really fun to engage with, so I think this is a pretty cool ability. Now, he can't self-heal and instead has a bouncing bomb called the 836 Tactical Grenade. It sticks to the ground and players, but it bounces off of walls. But even cooler than that, it adds a movement ability to Bastion's kit. That's just really cool. Finally, his ultimate is just way different now. It's basically 3 Doomfist ults, but you're also exposed while you're ulting.
Artillery bullshit.
Yep. You can usually pick a lot of kills off, but they're also projectiles in every sense, meaning they can be blocked or destroyed by other abilities. Now, I never really tested if you could deflect it as Genji, and I'm kind of regretting that now as I'm writing the script. It's definitely something I should try.
I told you, he's a very good character. I think that
Sombra.
Bastion is pretty elaborate.
Rather than going by ability, I just want to talk about all the changes as a whole since they all work in tandem. Now, first off, the hack...
Guys, did this guy play the game? Or is he just commenting about the gameplay? Was he actually in the beta?
Is just completely different. It still disables abilities, but it's only for 1 second instead of 5, so you still use it to cancel ultimates and abilities, but you can also hack while invisible, and it allows you to see hacked enemies through walls, and that includes your team. They can see them through walls too. Now, on top of that, you also do extra damage to hacked enemies due to your passive, making Sombra just the ultimate pounce and kill hero. And
I personally didn't see any good Sombra player in beta.
He
0.
also takes
Or in alpha.
40% of the affected enemy's health on impact. So Sombra lives up to her opportunist role.
Looks pretty strong. This looks fucking busted as fuck though. It looks like it.
Off alone.
Cassidy's garbage.
Now, we're gonna rapid fire through more of the minor changes to heroes that weren't really reworks in the sense. Cassidy, no more flashbang. Instead, he has a magnetic grenade, which is a grenade that hones in on enemies that
I mean, look at the damage. Look at this.
Throw it. Now, in the alpha, it did
look at it.
100 damage to stun enemies, so it's pretty good for cleaning up kills. Oh, and also when he's using High Noon, he takes less damage, but otherwise he's pretty much...
So if you miss a grenade, it hits faster. So if you miss it, it goes bang instantly with less damage. it feels to me like Nate is better like that. 'Cause look how long it takes. If you're in trouble and you're in a 1v1, even if you hit the grenade, you're still gonna die.
Aria.
Look how long it takes.
Stuck enemies, so it's pretty good for cleaning up kills. Oh, and also when he's using High Noon, he takes less damage, but otherwise he's pretty much the same. Zarya.
Like 2 seconds.
Zarya's bubble charges are now shared, meaning it takes 9 seconds for you to get a charge, but it's up to you to bubble only yourself, only your allies, or mix it up and do a little bit of both. It's completely up for you to decide. You could be selfish or a team player. New Zarya
I've always
is
wanted this.
insanely strong and way better. Definitely a main tank caliber tank. Reinhardt can now steer his charge way better, as well as cancel it. Now, my footage got messed up when I recorded it, but you get the idea. You can steer your charge. He also now has 2 fire strikes, so basically Reinhardt in 5v5 means you get to dive deep into enemy lines and brawl your heart out. Winston now has a sniper rifle, and that's it. It's awesome, but it doesn't really change his kit that much. It'll be really cool to see how pros use it, but I don't think most players are going to get all the value they can out of this. Junkrat's trap no longer completely
Be honest,
stops
I didn't really use it.
enemies from moving, but rather it just slows them down until you walk far away from the trap. Now, you can't use any of your movement abilities, so like you can't.
It's not about the
dash
aim
or
though,
break
it's
out
just
of
kind of
it, for
like
example, but it does basically mean that the trap concussion mine combo isn't quite as reliable. Also, concussion mines now have this blinking light to give them away more easily, so that's a bit of a nerf. Mei. Just like Junkrat, Mei can no longer
Nobody falls for that
freeze
trap, though.
enemies. It just slows them down. But her primary fire does more damage, so newbie Meis that never use their secondary fire are now justified in their newbiness. Now, I will say, her ultimate still does freeze people. It's only her primary that's changed in terms of being able to freeze people. Brigitte. Shield bash is just basically removed. It doesn't.
From my perspective, when I played it though, guys, she was
50.
still very annoying though. She was really fucking annoying. So I don't know. Maybe I didn't play against Mei enough or whatever. It still felt super annoying.
Damage. You move a little bit
somehow,
further,
even
but
without the
not really
freeze.
much else changed. And actually, that's pretty much all that's changed in the support category. We'll talk a bit more about that later. Now let's talk maps. All of the existing maps are different, and they are at different times or different weathers.
Yep, they just have different time zones on them. Yeah,
it actually looks really cool. There are some minor changes to existing ones, but overall they're about the same. Now, the new maps are pretty good. There's some weird balancing on certain sections of certain maps.
You are finally ending Bastion main discrimination.
Right. But overall, the new maps do feel like classic Overwatch maps with new ideas. There are new maps for...
this is the one I didn't like. I don't like Eichenwald on fucking Sunset. The map looks fantastic on daytime.
Existing game modes, but there are also new maps for push.
The new game mode feels pretty snowbally as well. It's very snowbally. If you fight at the right time and get a good team fight, and you stagger them, and you get another good team fight, you're pushing almost all the way through it.
In chat, so the channel creator pinged a message thanking you and your viewers for the support. They stream usually during the week starting around 10 AM Eastern US.
What?
So let's talk push.
Okay,
Push
makes
is
sense.
basically tug of war. You push this robot as far as you can towards the enemy spawn. Now, push is a fun game mode, but it can get a little back and forthy. I think it's a welcome addition, but it does have some problems that will probably get sorted out by the Overwatch 2 launch.
I wonder what's going to say the
For
problems
example,
of this game mode.
if one team pushes the robot really far, but not quite to the end, as the second team, you can get really demoralized really quickly because you can push it pretty far, but not get as far as the enemy did. But compared to...
What? What?
Overwatch 2 launch. Like,
2.5
for example,
years.
if one team
Feels
pushes
okay, man.
the robot
Right
really
pointing
far, but
finger.
not quite to the
A-okay,
end,
hand.
as the second team, you can get really demoralized really quickly because you can push it pretty far, but not get as far as the enemy did.
Yeah, but somebody has to win. You push the cart somewhere, you can't get attached to the distances you got. If they got more, they got more. I don't know what
But
that means.
compared to Assault or 2CP, it is way more fun and a massive improvement. So overall, definitely, we look forward to it. It's really enjoyable, and you can get really creative with playstyles on push game modes compared to other game modes that have existed.
So you see, guys, let me explain this shit, okay?
Hey X, could you buy my tuition for flight school?
Fuck no.
And you can get really creative with playstyles.
See this little cone? So as the team, you push the cone to a certain spot, right? And that's your cone. The enemy have their own cone, I'm pretty sure. And whenever you die and you stop pushing the cone, it stops there at a certain distance, and then the bot goes like, and it runs as fast as he can, I think, the other direction, right? All the way till middle. And then if he doesn't have a cone to push, and you push him, he does the same thing very much towards their cone. And whenever he hits the cone, theirs, now he starts pushing it very slowly.
On push game modes compared to other game modes that have existed before. Next, there is a ping system, but it's nothing really fancy. It's just a ping system.
So when he's pushing the cone, which is how you win, he goes slowly. When he's going the other direction, because you're not the enemy team isn't pushing that cone anymore, he goes way faster the other direction.
Like every other game. Honestly, I don't know why this was an Overwatch 2 thing. It feels like this could have probably made it into Overwatch 1 really easily. Hopefully players will use it, but in the alpha, it just didn't really get much use. So maybe that'll change once more players play the game.
3, 2, 1, clear out.
And finally, 5v5.
Use
Now,
comms.
you know 5v5 was happening, but I just want to quickly say, if you are feeling hesitant about it, don't. It still feels like Overwatch, and it's still really fun. From a tank player's perspective,
Okay, I'm gonna agree it feels like Overwatch, but I'm gonna go ahead and disagree a little bit. It felt kind of, maybe just because I played the alpha or whatever, it felt kind of slow at times. Fights feel much different and more like sneaky than an actual team fight. Guys, things feel more sneaky. Things feel more like, okay, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, and it's not like big like I don't know, like everybody's very valued, and if you do something sneaky, you get very rewarded for it. So it feels more like
which
less
is me,
big team fight brawly.
It feels really weird, but it doesn't feel bad. It's fun. I enjoyed it. So hold your opinions until you've actually tried it. I was pretty skeptical. It's a really cool spin on the game, and it changes the pace a lot.
That's fun, but I enjoy
It's
big team
still very
fights that are
familiar,
organized
and you
properly.
Still have the awesome interactions that you know and love.
So every player is very much valued, especially
41
DPS.
months XQC
So the less
chat.
numbers you have, the more DPS is important, right? So as a DPS, like you can like go super fucking hard, just like CS. You know, you get 2 kills, you did a lot for your team. That's kind of how it is now.
Now, that being said, supports are the same. They didn't change the supports. They didn't add any. Maybe in the beta they will, but the community has been complaining about this a lot, and honestly, I actually don't mind it.
50
I
months
play a
Goku
lot of supports,
xQcOW.
particularly Lucio, and the 5v5 format changes things up enough to where the lack of support changes actually doesn't feel egregious. I felt like the idea of being a support changes in 5v5, and you have a lot more opportunities to like be a damage dealer or focus on your utility more rather than your healing. So support actually has a lot more opportunities for creativity instead of just being a steed and heal bot for your tanks.
Well, I mean, like I said, everybody is valued more in 5v5 because there's less players, literally. And you're not getting brawled by fucking 2 tanks slamming into you. So yeah, of course.
Anyway, that's this round of recaps for everything new since the Overwatch 2 alpha. Things are subject to change in the beta, so maybe all this information's outdated.
It's a good video.
I want to know, what are you most excited to try? Leave a comment down below, and then also check out our Discord, Twitter, and Instagram from the links in the description down below. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Have a nice day. My name is Nate, and this was Blizzard Guides.
It was a nice video. Interesting. It wasn't a bad video. I enjoyed it.